So welcome to our live post show from OTT Homecoming. I was the only sad bastard sitting at home because I had a going away party last night at home. I just
It's
couldn't
no
do it.
excuse. It's really
I
no excuse. It
know,
should have been
I
there.
know. And he offered me a ticket late last night as well. And to be honest with you, if I'd taken it, I kind of knew myself. I knew I'd wake up like this tomorrow. And it's technically Sunday now. And I can't even fathom being outside in the wind, let alone traveling to Dublin. So I'm here with the lads, sitting front row as usual. Gordo, Nicky, Steve. How was the trip home, boys?
Trip home was fine. It was grand.
I
First
barely
back.
stayed away. Barely.
We actually listened to our podcast on the way home.
Which podcast is that, Nicky?
That would be the 2-Bit Sports. I was a bit alleged wrestling podcast, which you can find on all places that do podcasts, like iTunes and Stitcher and YouTube.
We're quite proud of the iTunes part, so that's good.
That's where we listen to it.
Apart from me, who had to edit the podcast this week on the bus on my hotspot on my phone, because I figured by the time I got back home, I was flat out. I just couldn't. I had to go to bed the minute I got home. So going away parties away from where you live, never a good idea. You can probably hear it in my voice. It's not as it's not the usual audible chocolate that it is, but
What a way to describe it.
we'll see how it goes. Nicky, you're our OTT and Irish wrestling guy. What do you make of the new venue for OTT Homecoming tonight?
I actually really like the new venue. I thought I was apprehensive before we went in, but once we went in, we saw the setup. I mean, it's all flat seating. It's all seated. There's a few people standing at the back, but it was majority of it was seated, which is nice. I think it for our first time running the venue, it went really well. It really did.
Cool.
I was very impressed with it. I'd say there's a couple of little teething issues that probably get sorted before. The lighting rig had to have people OTT staff basically sitting at the lighting rigs to hold it in place because it wasn't held down for the entire night. So something about that, but that's something that you kind of, it's long term more so than short term. But overall, very impressed.
And do you think this is the move from the Tivoli? You reckon this will be okay in the long term?
There was a Q&A before the show, and Joe was involved, and someone asked him basically about all this, and he basically said, if this show and the next show, which is also in the same venue, go well, and this might be the new venue going forward then after the Tivoli shuts the doors.
Cool. So I suppose when you walked in, what was the difference? Any major difference between the Tivoli and this, or what did you make of the new venue when you walked in and you saw the lights were down and the ring was up and everything kind of cool?
It's all pretty good.
Nice. So no issues then. Seamless transition.
Yeah, the one thing that really kind of struck me, I made a quick trip out to the vending machine outside because fuck queuing for the bar. The queue was a bit too long for my liking, and I actually missed the national anthem. But just that scream and roar that everyone let out at the end, just the echo of it and the way it kind of just reverberated around everything, it held the sound so well, really a lot like the Tivoli, but the echo actually added to it. And when you walk back in the door after it and the noise hits you, that was something that really jumped out at me right from the start of the show, that the noise levels in there were fantastic. So
it's like ECW in 1997 is what you're telling me.
Yeah, no, this does better. This out does it.
Because ECW 97, but drunker.
Well, yeah, that'd do it, yeah.
Something like that. The only thing I'd say, the bar, there was 3 people on the bar, and they were quite slow serving for a good portion of it. So I think that's why the queues for the bar were so bad. And it was pretty much just pints. They had some bottles, but it was mainly pints, so it was taking a while. I'd say they could, if they did cans there, they'd be fine. It's just that was the big issue. Just like, because if it was cans, people get to put in the cans and bring back their seats. Don't have to go to the bar for the night, because it was pints. You have to go up each time. So it was driving up the queues.
Look, it's first night in.
Yeah, that's it. This for our first night in a venue, it went really well. Yeah.
Good.
But also, I haven't mentioned this yet. The show was fucking fantastic.
Yeah. So what overall, before we break down the card, what do you reckon, Gordo?
Love the show, love the venue. Kind of following on from last year, where the first show of the year was probably their best show overall. I think this year is going to be tough to beat that one.
Steve, what do you reckon? first show?
Knocked it out of the park. It was unreal. The card itself, it took a bit of a hit when some of the guys had to pull out. And we had a bit of a pull out for the opening match. The person that we all love to hate, Ryan Smile, didn't show for some other reason that was not overly
Something to do with maths.
overly detailed. Yes, so
Thor Pythagorean and theorem.
yes, exactly. Trent Seven did explain it in quite graphical detail, but he was using names for body parts that I wasn't familiar with, so I couldn't keep up with his physiological explanation.
But you're a grown boy still, Steve. So one of these days it'll come to you.
That's what she said.
Brought the whole tone down. We can't even cut that out. We're live. So I suppose I'll start into the card then. Nicky, Trent Seven versus LJ Cleary. Did the wig stay on? Is it a wig?
It's a parent. They didn't clarify whether it was a wig or not. But this is basically the way this worked. This was supposed to be Trent Seven versus Ryan Smile. As the lad said, Ryan Smile wasn't there, so Trent Seven issued an open challenge, which LJ Cleary accepted to a rapturous applause. Really fun match though. It was basically just Trent Seven beating the crap out of LJ Cleary for a lot of it, which was everyone loved.
Yep.
And Trent Seven picked up the win.
So many chops.
A lot of
many
chops.
Including the ring post. He needs to not chop that ring post.
Every
Don't tell
goddamn
me
time.
he still hasn't worked that whole system out.
No, not at all.
We warned him. We actually shouted over at him and told him, but he never listened.
Damn that Trent Seven.
Yeah, he was so entertaining.
I suppose we'll go on to the second match. So if there's not much else to add there, good match though.
Yeah.
Very, very good. You can see why a lot of people are talking about LJ Cleary. As much as we all believe he's wearing a wig, and he possibly has a love child in the audience every week, he is wrestling talent. You really can't deny it. He pulled out some moves tonight that was just almost show a bit of maturity beyond his years. So I have good hopes for him going forward.
Yeah, it's the personality that always gets me for LJ Cleary. He's got a lot of charisma.
Yeah.
Yup.
So move on then. The former NLW champion Mark Haskins versus Adam Brooks. Nicky, thoughts?
So it was good. I really enjoyed the match. Adam Brooks is the first time we've seen him. He's Australian. He could have got a bit of a facey reaction at the start, but he quickly let us know that he was being the heel in this match. We almost got to our this is the point that some of the seats, including ours, got taken out by Mark quite early in this match. Who's he got? Well, yours got well fucked.
Fitz got broken and I got robbed.
So we were kind of Fitz was on broken seat for the rest of the night, but and it was a really fun match. Adam Brooks was really impressed me in his opening match. Mark Haskins picked up the win, but Adam Brooks then afterwards kicked Mark Haskins in the dick.
Oh,
Down under.
classic.
He kicked him down under. He's Australian. Use the pun.
Once again, we're live. We can't cut this. Get it right the first time.
But that was an absolute classic match. I think we're going to see Adams Brooks back in OTT again, even if he was the least talented Brooks we've had in OTT behind Chris Brooks.
You have quite a hard on for Chris Brooks, you do.
I do. I love that man. So damn talented.
So from somebody that wasn't at the show and was really looking forward to a match, this is the one I wanted to see. This is the one I wanted to travel to, but just my body was not capable. The OTT gender neutral title: Martina versus Chuck Taylor versus Be Cool versus Angel Cruz. I want this in great detail. I want ESPN levels of breakdown.
I thought it was Chuck Palumbo.
But that's I see brackets here Palumbo, so I assume Angel Cruz mixed up some names again.
Of course he did.
I wasn't even there and I knew it. Good old Angel Cruz.
Oh yeah, no, it was really fun match. They, as you would expect, pure comedy match. So basically, it started off. Be Cool and Angel Cruz teamed up, threw Martina and Chuck out of the ring. Angel Cruz then lay down for Be Cool to get the pin. This happened lots and unsuccessfully. Basically, so the whole story of the match is Angel Cruz and Be Cool trying to let Be Cool win.
Right.
Chuck Taylor also wouldn't hit Martina because he's a gentleman. He won't hit a woman.
Oh, the Kentucky gentleman wouldn't do something like that.
Exactly. The Kentucky gentleman wouldn't hit a woman. So midway through the match, after Martina kept slapping him and tried to get him to do it, Chuck just walked off Chuck was earlier. Actually, Chuck was locked out the emergency exit. Angel Cruz and Team Prick threw Chuck Taylor out the emergency exit and went back to try and get Be Cool to get the win again. He eventually made his way around the building and back in the other door. Then, as I said, then he walked off later on after he wouldn't hit Martina, and then out came a female. What we were calling this Session Chuck. Session Chuck then made her way out with a wig and full Martina get up and got involved in the match. Really fun, really entertaining match. The finish was Angel Cruz was in a submission. Martina had Angel Cruz in a submission, and Be Cool hit. What did he hit? He hit something.
He hit the brain
buster.
He hit the brain buster on Chuck Taylor, going for the pin. 1, 2, Angel taps out. So Martina keeps the belts.
Fantastic. So
That's
Gordo,
set
your love for Nia Jax, would you ever have your arm twisted towards the Session Chuck?
Oh, in a heartbeat. It was love at first sight. Our eyes, we locked eyes across the ring as well. It's like, yeah, this is happening.
Yeah, it's a romantic podcast. This and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
good to hear things like that.
But some heartbreak after the match, though. The Angel Cruisers might be splitting up.
Steve, God damn it! God damn it, Steve!
I know. I was just as upset as every one of the 700 odd people there tonight. It was very upsetting watching it.
I can't deal with that. We had the Festival of Friendship last year. We can't be dealing with this now. We can't have it year after year.
I know, and we had Justy the year before, just turning his back, being a dick. But I don't know. Is this the end of the Angel Cruisers?
Time will tell.
Time will tell. You'll have to buy tickets to the next show, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, we will, and we already have.
The show road.
I believe some are still on sale on Eventbrite.ie.
We don't work for them. But,
It's going to be nice.
We're trying to be nice, yeah. It's like, how will you possibly improve your constant front row seats, though? Like, you'd have to ref the match or something.
Just share some more articles and stuff like that for us. Get the old views up.
Get the ducats. But next match, Nikki, Travis Banks versus Zack Sabre Jr. I imagine it's a catch-as-catch-can classic.
It was a technical masterclass, so it was. It was slow to get going, but generally those type of matches are. But by the end, every single submission, every single stretch, every single fucking vicious forearm to the face or slap, it was a great match, just fantastic match.
Yeah, I said it to the lads. Zack Sabre Jr. is not human.
He won, by the way. Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, he won. He was fucking pulling out submissions and countering moves into submissions that it should not be physically possible to counter them into. Just fucking phenomenal. No words.
No, he's great. Even just his participation in the CWC there, was it last year or the year before? He was the only completely different guy in it.
Yeah, stood out a mile.
New Japan stuff late last year, but good times. He's fantastic. So I think the next match we go to is Speedball Mike Bailey versus Keith Lee.
Yeah, I messed up the order that I posted there.
That's fine.
Yeah, this for
I was
me.
Thinking, I looked at it and I went,
forgot to cut it from my original list. For me, this was match of the night. This was absolutely insane.
This is match of the year.
It was so good.
I don't know who tweeted it. I assume Fitz. Did you tweet that video out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tweeted it? Yeah. So,
oh my god!
Go to you on this match. It got a hell of a lot of retweets and likes. So,
like that was just one instance. That was Keith Lee taking the reverse Rana from Speedball, and my god! Like at one stage, Keith Lee ran at Speedball and did like a shoulder tackle / spear and sent Speedball about 5 feet on an angle into the corner. It was just so impressive. Like Keith Lee, you can't appreciate how much of an ox and just the stature of this man is until he's standing right in front of you, and you feel infinitely inferior to him, just looking and basking in his glory.
I see that guy and I look at it and I think he's like Ronaldinho. He's not human. He just exists.
Yeah,
pretty much. They also before this match, they also set up the stipulation that the winner would get a spot at Scrapper Mania. There was one spot left, and the winner would get the spot.
So cool.
But Gordo, this was your first time seeing Keith Lee live.
Yeah. First thoughts on him after watching this match: he's a 330-pounder who doesn't realize he's 330 pounds.
In a good way, not like in a good way.
Oh yeah, completely. It's he thinks he's 130 pounds. It's insane what the man can do. It's words fail me.
Yeah. It was so good. But just watch this match because it was just the best. Keith Lee
remember taking that pop-up powerbomb?
Yep, and he bounced around 5 feet in the air off the fucking mat.
Literally. Keith Lee put him up, pop-up powerbomb, and
whose phone's that?
Someone's phone. Yellow card.
Down with that
card. Someone moved their phone away. Yellow card.
So what I was saying is Keith Lee got speedball up, pop-up powerbomb, and I swear to God, he bounced off the ring back up to at least above the second rope in terms of height. Like, it was just unbelievable. And like speedball, that's the third or fourth match I've seen him in OTT now, and he's had a match with Riddle, he's had a match with Devlin.
He's had two with Devlin.
I think there was one more in there as well. I can't remember exactly. That's my favorite speedball match so far.
That's saying something considering we had him in our match of the year list from last year.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but just I was literally on the edge of my seat. I think I stood up about 5 or 6 times. Sorry to the people behind me, aka. But it was amazing. It was just so good.
Yeah, it was crazy good. Keith Lee picked up the win anyway, so he's the one that's moving on to Scrapper Mania.
Very good. Speaking of Scrapper Mania, we saw the announcement was made tonight. I didn't hear any of the rumors, but was talking to Johnny, and he heard there could have been a Japanese talent coming over. Mm-hmm. Little did we know,
we get 2.
By God, and Jeff Cobb.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'd like that. I'll get in the lineup here now just to quickly go through it. But we have Jeff Cobb, Keith Lee, Zack Sabre Jr., Will Ospreay, Matt Riddle, Tomo Ishii, and Minoru Suzuki.
Good God. Current IWGP Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
I just want Suzuki versus Riddle for 45 minutes.
Good God. I wonder, is that the match?
I hope it is so bad, but I have a feeling that they'll go Ishii versus Suzuki just to keep the two New Japan guys together.
I reckon they might do Suzuki and Sabre against someone since Sabre's in Suzuki Gun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Still though, Matt Riddle and Suzuki are in the same building. It has to happen.
And the biggest question of all, will Martina grind on Suzuki?
For the bands.
For bands. But all jokes aside, we talked about this for the Being the Elite show, and the 8-ball was hovering over the pocket there for the Elite versus British Strong Style. They have to do Suzuki and Riddle here. Put it free on YouTube. Get their name out there across the world. They have to do that.
You'd hope so, but it depends on what. Obviously, they will probably have some sort of deal with New Japan to get them in, so they probably have a big say on what they do. So
fair enough, but I'd imagine New Japan are probably looking at Matt Riddle anyway, because WWE can't sign him because of the weed stuff. Do it. Yeah. Just fucking do it.
Just take all my money.
Suzuki going against the Chosen Bros.
OTT aren't there to tease the bag. But OTT have never been ones to tease the bag. They'll just give you what they think is the best, and usually what they think is best is usually what we want. Just fucking do it. Just do it. I'm calling it right now. Whoever's listening, just do it, please. For the love of God. It's right there. It's right there. They're both in the building. But we'll go on to the what started off as the NLW title match, but as we see later, turned into the official unveiling of the OTT World Champion. What is it called? The World Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship?
World
World
Heavyweight.
Heavyweight.
I think it's
World
World
Heavyweight.
So we had
Championship.
Jordan Devlin versus Timothy Thatcher, Nicky.
Mhm. Great
Not,
match.
not Terry Thatcher.
No, as we
Timothy.
get the chat, we had to clarify that at the start. The match, they didn't mention that about the changeover title after the match. So the whole way through it was for the NLW title. Great match. So Timothy Thatcher is a beast. He's just like he's got a broken front tooth, so when he smiles, it just looks super creepy. It's fantastic. But there was a whole Timothy Thatcher section across from us that had all his scarves and everything, and so they were all cheering for him. So the rest of the crowd were all cheering for Devlin. But Timothy Thatcher really impressed me. He was all vicious with his chops and his forearms and everything like that. But Jordan Devlin obviously picked up the win because he's going to keep that title for a while.
Yeah. Gordo, what
Yeah.
you make of the match?
Really good. I wasn't overly familiar with Thatcher. I'd seen bits and pieces of him from watching different shows, whatever. But first time properly watching him, and really impressed me how strong he was. Kind of went back to Q&A earlier on in the show in the night, where Devlin actually said he loves working this kind of strong style, where you're going to get hit, but you take it and you dish it out. Essentially, that's exactly what this match was.
Yeah.
They tore lumps out of each other. In a good way, it was safe and everything, but it was hard hitting, and there's going to be a couple of sore bones in the morning.
Anything to add there, Steve?
No, it was just another classic Devlin match. Like Gordo hit the nail on the head there. Like it was one of the more strongest style matches I've seen in OTT in recent memory. Just like Devlin in his post match or the post show Q&A, he said that one of the things he loves seeing in the strong style matches, when you give a lot of a slap or a chop, is actually seeing the sweat fly off the man. So you can see it as a fan, whether you're close or far away, seeing that impact. You can feel the impact as well. In this match, we saw a lot of sweat flying because the slaps and the chops that were going in, and mainly the elbows going in from Thatcher. Oh my God. Like, I don't know how they're not going to wake up in the morning without unbelievable agony in their upper torsos.
Exactly. This is the match that you lost your chair as well, Gordo.
Was it?
Was this that? It was.
No,
Which
it
match
was,
He was also 16 ciders in at this point, clearly.
no, I had one all night. Well, the second one
Fair
I'm
enough,
currently
fair
drinking. No, it was during the Haskins match.
was it? No, it wasn't that.
It was during the
It was,
Haskins
yeah.
match because he brought it off around to the side. He
Okay.
brought it off over near the entrance.
I thought it was the other one. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was when Fitz's broke. He then picked mine up and threw Brooks into it, and then kicked them all around the place.
Yeah, that was it then. That makes more sense.
Was it during this one that the chair broke, or was that during the
That
Keith
was
Lee
it.
match?
That's what I was thinking of then. No, that was the Keith Lee match. That Keith Lee landed on that chair.
Oh no, it's Speedball doing his dive.
So it's broken.
The chair was a guy like 3 seats over from us, and his chair imploded.
But yeah, after this match, anyway, we had the unveiling of the title. The new title looks gorgeous.
Oh,
it's nice.
Beautiful.
But we also got something else. We got a tease of a potential new rivalry for the new OTT World Heavyweight Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Mr.
Go on.
Zack Sabre Jr. came to the ring and gave a little bit of a congratulations to Jordan Devlin.
Gave him the kiss of death in the forehead.
Yeah,
New Japan style, then.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So, to be fair, we kind of had an inkling that this was going to happen with the fact that Sabre Jr. was booked for the next few shows. But being perfectly honest with you, I am more than okay with that. That man is the greatest technical wrestler in the world right now. And by God, I can't wait to see that match.
That's only because Enzo Amore is currently fired.
Get fucked.
Well played,
God.
lads. Well played. We went on to
The
you don't want to call
main
it.
event
It was
of
the
the
main
evening.
event. It was the build match. It was the cage match, first ever OTT. Am I wrong in saying that? First ever OTT cage match?
Believe me, it was definitely their first.
Yeah. From what I've seen,
And may
let's
very
go
well
easy on
be
them. Look, let's go easy. They always put on good shows, so don't be dicks.
Yeah,
about it.
no. And before
Fair
we
play to them.
before we even talk
Yeah,
about-
exactly. Yeah.
and before we even talk about the match, absolute massive props goes to the designer and creator of the cage, and also the many ring hands that were around there to assemble and construct the cage using many cable ties and ratchet and flank systems.
I retweeted from our account and my own people giving a shout out to the ring crew who clearly had a bit of a tough job on their hands to get that all to work. So
Big
fair
time.
fucks to them.
Even throughout the entire match, they were on hand ringside to make sure the cage didn't move, and they did a fantastic job. So absolute massive props to them.
First, if they weren't hanging around ringside, I'd say there would, at least one of those panels on the cage would no longer be there and would be on top of people. So fair play.
And it was probably the one on our side.
Yeah, I could tell even just following this online on Twitter, just people reacting. I was like, oh fuck! But look, first time. First time.
It added to it because you had the sense of imminent death. It was amazing.
Exactly. Not to add to the whole show where you might actually be killed. So if you're sitting in the crowd, what are the guys in the ring going through? You know, it works well. If you want to kayfabe it totally, that's the way to look at it. But that was for the OTT tag team title. It was Kings of the North versus the Rapture.
The new OTT tag team titles. They've also changed those.
Ooh, that I wasn't aware of.
They didn't mention and make a big deal out of it, but up to now they've been using the NWA Ireland tag team titles as the OTT tag titles. They've brand fancy new OTT ones now this month.
Yeah, no, it's as we talked about. I don't know how many times I mentioned it. They badly needed to get their own set of belts and forget about these extra 3 letters. Use the 3 letters you're using and go with it.
Exactly.
So, what was the match like, Nikki?
It was fantastic. It was insane. It was nuts. It was hilarious in parts, not so hilarious in other parts, and the sense of imminent doom just loomed over the whole thing. And there was many situations of holy shit chance in this match because there was many holy shit moments.
Steve?
Yeah, unbelievable. So to kind of go through the match slightly, what happened was they kind of brawled on the outside, as tends to happen with multi-man tag matches in OTT. They tend to sprawl out and go out to the crowd a little bit.
Yeah, one of the lads from Kings of the North still owes me a pint. So if you're listening,
good luck getting that.
Foster Court.
I'm still waiting on a pint from Rocky Mac from about 2 years ago because I caught a microphone that he tossed.
So what actually happened was before the match even began, because the rules of this match were quite simple. The match begins when all 6 men are in the ring and the door is closed. The match is over when all 3 members of your team are out of the cage, whether it's over the top or through the door. So no ref in the ring, no pinfall, no submission. Before the match started, all 3 members of the Rapture got and isolated Bonesaw in the ring and locked and padlocked the door. So poor Corvin and Dunk were locked outside. Bonesaw took a whooping.
He did.
The 3 boys hit him with fucking every finisher they could think of, I'd imagine, within the space of 2 or 3 minutes that they had. And Corvin and Dunk were outside trying to get in, trying to climb up the cage, but getting knocked down from slaps and smacks from the inside from the boys that were inside. So naturally, they decided they have to find an alternative way into the ring. Hence, they go backstage and get a ladder. They bring out this massive ladder, plank it straight in front of us, and Corvin's the first one to decide he wants to enter the match. So he climbs the ladder, stands on top of the ladder, props himself up on top of the cage. So at this stage, he's probably 15, 16 foot above the ring mat. Jumps straight on top of the lads, cleans everyone out. Holy shit goes around the entire arena. And everyone's kind of sprawled out, and then all of a sudden you see, I think it's either Charlie Sterling or Gibson. I think it was Gibson actually, was sprawled out, nicely positioned for Duncan Disorderly to make his entrance. So Duncan climbs the ladder, stands on top of the ladder, props himself up on top of the ring, frog splash from on top of the cage. Perfectly, inch perfect. One of the best frog splashes you're going to see. Ow! Oh my fuck! My ribs are sore. It's just cruelly beautiful. So now all 6 men are in the ring. The match can start. And so many moments where I thought the cage was about to implode.
Gordo, how many times did you pray before the cage was going to fall on your head?
I only prayed once because I didn't stop.
One long continuous prayer.
Yeah, there was some moments. Pretty much any time you saw them aiming towards you, you fucking prayed and you were ready to dive under the ring for fear there was a panel coming your way. I was also worried that we were near the door, and I was like, I hope the fucking hinges are all right on that door, because otherwise I'm getting a door in the face. Yeah, fucking what a match! My God, like kudos, and God knows if they'll ever hear this, but to all 6 men that were in this match, massive props, because that cage looked like it hurt.
Yeah, it really did.
And every one of them took multiple slaps off of that cage. So, yeah, as I said, it's something that we kind of take for granted, but for what they put themselves through, fair fucks.
Yep, exactly. And to follow up, I basically the rest of the match then, they had the door padlocked. Eventually, the Rapture managed to get the 3 Kings down, so they unlocked the door. They were going to get out. Charlie Sterling was being a dick, so they kept pushing him back until him the last one out. He ends up getting caught by the Kings of the North, so he's left on his own in the ring. So then Duncan gets the chain and kind of clocks the door again. Didn't quite get it done right, and the chain just fell off. But so they managed to cover it pretty well in that Gibson basically went to go up when he realized that the chain had fell off. They were trying to get back in, the other two. Gibson, when he realized the chain fell off, just kind of opened the door. Bonesaw stared at him and he closed the door again and ran away. Went over to the start. He's like, "We're trying all we can. We're trying all we can to get back in." So they managed to cover it well. But then eventually the Kings decide they want to go out. So Bonesaw and Duncan managed to make their way out. So it's left with just it was just Charlie Sterling and Corvin in the ring.
Yep.
Sterling, Corvin was Corvin was up at the top. He was about to come out. He ends up getting suplexed all the way back into the ring. From the top of the cage. It looked quite nasty. It was the other way. Just Sterling get suplexed. One of them got suplexed.
No, Sterling suplexed Corvin.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we just? Did he take his arse out again?
He didn't.
No, he hasn't done that in a while. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have not seen that man's arse in quite a few months.
I believe
That's amazing.
I believe the reason for this is that he was apparently offered a WWE contract, and there were some pictures found online that stopped him being offered a WWE contract. And since this has happened, we've not seen his ass. So I have a feeling it might be something to do with that. But yeah, so
it's just a shame. I mean, WWE can't be seen to be showing people's arses on television. And they didn't create 2 characters based off of it. But anyway, carry on.
Exactly. So anyway, the match ends with the 2 lads from the Rapture trying to pull Sterling, thank you. Names go out of my head. I'm trying to say stuff. Trying to pull Sterling out through the door while Corvin's holding on to him from behind. The 2 Kingston North guys are laid out at ringside at this point. Eventually, after a bunch of pulling, everyone's kind of getting involved. Sterling gets dragged out, and we have brand new OTT tag team champions in the Rapture.
Holy shit balls.
Yep.
The rain is gone. Now, there is a rematch tomorrow night in Belfast, so the rain mightn't be gone for long.
Yeah.
But as of now, the Kings of the North are no longer the OTT tag team champions.
And how did that go down? How did that go down in the arena?
Shock.
There was silence. There was actually people. It was like people thought they fucked up or something.
Oh, man.
Picture Taker losing the first time.
Here.
Not quite to that extent.
No, but the same thing, if you look around and it's just there's literally shocked faces, it's stunned silence. It's obviously nothing's ever going to be on that level, but I'm thinking that's the sort of basic vibe.
I know what you're saying, yeah. Just a general shock throughout the venue.
Exactly.
It's an odd way to end the show, but a cool one.
Mhm.
So overall, what do you make of the first show there?
Fantastic. One of the best,
Yeah.
if not the best, one of the best OTT shows I've been to.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's going to take some beating to try top that this year.
very good. So any other anecdotes to add before we finish up? Pints?
No, pints. Pints were cheap. They weren't cheap. They were less than the fiver.
Well, we should have spent most of the show on that.
Yep. Also,
Pints, less than
we
a
should-
fiver.
we should tip some out for poor Don Marnell, who wasn't with us today.
No.
Yeah.
It was very
One for
sad.
you and one for the homies. You know, just pour it out.
But yeah, fantastic show.
Cool. So I think maybe we make a habit of this. We've done some new kind of live post shows on the YouTube channel. We did it for the Rumble and NXT Takeover Philly last weekend. Figured we'd do one here. So maybe we make a bit of a habit of this. See how it goes. See how this one does. It is 2:25 and people who are at OTT who are in Dublin are still in the pub. So I expect numbers to come in tomorrow, not necessarily on the live show part of it. So said we'd do it anyway. It saves the editing too. I don't have to do anything. I can just put it live and then it's done. So so yeah, we think we might could do this, but we're now on iTunes. Check us out at the Alleged Wrestling Podcast. You can find us at 2-Bit Wrestling on the Twitter. Also find us on Facebook at whatever it's called, facebook.com/2bit sports. I'm not a Facebook person.
That is
So
what it is.
that's the one. Yes. Hosting duties. Well done. But yeah, so yeah, YouTube, 2-Bit Sports, iTunes, the Alleged Wrestling Podcast, Stitcher, the Alleged Wrestling Podcast, YouTube, the Alleged Wrestling Podcast or 2-Bit Sports, SoundCloud, the Alleged Wrestling Podcast, 2-Bit Sports, all the things. You find us on Podcast Addict. You find us on Player FM. You can find us on any of the things that iTunes feeds to. So subscribe, rate, review. As we keep saying, whatever Jericho says to do at the end of his podcast, do it for us. So thanks for joining us live. You probably aren't. You're still in the pub. We know this. So we'll see you in the morning. Enjoy listening to this over your sausage sandwiches and a cup of tea. Say goodbye, boys.
Bye, boys.
Night.
Slánta.
We're going to keep this dragging out, aren't we? We're still live. There we are. We're gone. Everyone, you ran out of steam. Fuck's sake.